Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and a very, very hearty, warm welcome to this session on the future of emerging technologies. I guess we can begin the session with Varun sir giving us a small input from his side. Varunji, maybe you can just introduce the whole session, and then I would take it.
Okay, good afternoon. So I hope everyone is safe, either at their homes or at their workplace. I must start with mentioning that INKER Robotics has chosen a wonderful topic for the webinar, emerging technologies, and the fact that they're in this exciting field of robotics. I'm sure not only the youth, but everyone is interested in a topic like this. And I think it's about time that India takes over the robotics field, in as much as in the space field, we have proven to the world that India is not behind in the space category. In terms of cost, in terms of getting to the moon or getting to Mars, wherever we've gone. But at the same time, again, robotics playing a very important area. I think once again, so INKER Robotics has chosen a very good topic. And I'm sure this session will be interesting for everyone who is viewing this webinar right now, in terms of not only what the future is all about, but also how robotics can help all of us during these troubled times by maintaining social distancing, and also how the future will be shaped up by robotics largely. Having said that, let me just give you, take a couple of minutes in mentioning about our partnership with INKER Robotics again. We've worked with INKER Robotics. We've been working with them for a long time in several fields and several areas. And we're glad to partner with them on the electronic hardware side as well. A brief about us: Sahasra Electronics is a 2-decade-old organization. And as part of the Sahasra group, we are into several manufacturing activities, right from manufacturing automotive dash cams in the automotive segment, to manufacturing motherboards and memory products in the IT segment, electronics manufacturing on the whole for different industries, including manufacturing of printed circuit boards, which is the base electronic product for every electronic device that we all see. Sahasra Group is by and large engaged in exports as well as supply to domestic companies. And we have our customers across the globe, including in one of Sahasra's arms, which is Sahasra Sambhav Skill Development, is the skill development arm that is partnered with INKER Robotics. And together with them, we hope to be able to impart skills and train the youth of this country so that we can actually become Atmanirbhar, not only in manufacturing, but also in design and development, which is actually the future, so that we have our own products, our own designs, our own innovation, and we stop depending only on imported products. Okay, coming to the specific topic, again, as I said, very interesting from robotics. So robotics is something which is overall part of the largely used word automation. Robotics or automation, as I just said some time back, is definitely going to be the future. When you talk about industry, we hear this term nowadays quite a bit called Industry 4.0, which basically means that we automate the processes at industries to such an extent whereby there is a lot more automation on the shop floor and even in the systems that we deploy. Automation will be in forms of software, or let's say ERPs that we use. Also automation, software automation in terms of the production lines that we have, they give us data automatically with combining our production lines with softwares again. And on the hardware side, there will be robots, or what we actually call in industry robotic arms, which will be used in some places instead of manpower, and in some places together with manpower. So while a lot of people, they get worried about the fact that automation or robotics means loss of jobs, not at all. That's definitely not going to be the case. And a good example is, look at software. The biggest companies of the world who are building software, they need hardware. Apple software is spoken about a lot, but without the exciting device that they have made, which requires hardware and which requires people to be there, their product would not have been successful. So maybe 20 years back, we were all worried that software will take away all the jobs. Not at all. And similarly, automation or robotics will not take away the jobs. They will complement, and they will create new openings. For example, in machine learning, in AI, in programming, in maintaining these robots, in servicing the robots, in completing the line of these robots. So a robot will be able to do, let's say, out of, on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say it can do 8 out of 10 activities, but it cannot do a couple of things. And you would probably not want to invest on the robot or on automation 100%. So these robots, etc., will work together with human beings in getting the activity done. So I spoke about Industry 4.0, that's one area. The second very important area, when we talk about warehousing, we talk about e-commerce companies, there is a huge demand for automation and robotics being used there. For example, we pick up the largest e-commerce companies like Amazon, Flipkart. They all are trying to automate their systems so that not only the error rate goes down, but at the same time, the time to pick up material from a shelf and get it to a package reduces. Now, again, the automation there is the simpler systems of, barcode machine and barcode labeling. But getting more and more complicated is the use of AGVs, the automatic guided vehicles, which is, by the way, a category of robot. Let us not all confuse robots only with humanoids, what we have seen in movies, but these are all robots. Anything which, any machine which does the activity that we were supposed to do by itself is a loose definition of a robot. So not only, scanners and barcode readers, at the same time, you have AGVs. And then you also have systems which a lot of robotic companies are nowadays looking at, what they call the pick to light or pick to put systems, where a robotic arm or a piece of hardware comes in, picks up something and puts it into a bin. Other forms of automation which have already been in place earlier are conveyorized systems, where you're able to get your product from a particular location to another location, or you are able to get it from a particular floor to a different floor. So these are all forms of automation and robots at warehouses and e-commerce companies. Then another very important area, which I'm sure INKER Robotics will show you an actual product, will be robotics such as the humanoid, which we all know, which is starting to become popular worldwide. Even some banks in India have introduced humanoids who will be used at restaurants, will be used at banks, will be used at a lot of service companies, will also be used at airports as automatic kiosks, which will be interactive, talk to you and solve your issues. And so you learn more about that probably in the next session with the other speakers. Another area where we talk about robots being used largely, which is already in use a lot, but we probably are not aware of that much, is the medical industry. In the medical industry, to avoid errors during operations and during surgeries, the use of robotic arms or robotic systems has been already there for a very long time. And that use in medicine, industry, or in the pharma industry is going to increase rapidly. So these few areas where robotic systems will be in use, and the future will definitely be a lot of automation, use of robotics in different forms, as I mentioned, as robotic arms or a humanoid or as machines which can do a lot more. That is definitely the future. And I would suggest all our viewers today to embrace these technologies. We are probably going through a very, very serious time in terms of the pandemic. But I must mention that nothing lasts forever. And so this pandemic, whether it takes 6 months or it takes 12 months, it will go away. So this is the time where we should make the best of it. We should learn such new skills and new technologies so that when all of us resume lives and working in the environment that we are all used to, the pre-lockdown situation, we come up with new activities, new learnings, and we are able to make use of whatever we have learned in that period and differentiate ourselves from the pack, and not only be able to get employed at companies, but at the same time use robotics in a fashion whereby it increases our own productivity as well as the productivity of the organization that we work with. So thank you very much. All the best to all the speakers. All the best to INKER Robotics for this particular webinar seminar. And if there are any quick questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Varun, for that inspiring talk, And before I begin with my session, let's see if there are any questions, This is a very, very, very technical question. You want me to read it? Yeah, we have a question here which says, when I made obstacle avoiding mobile controlled Hero HF Deluxe bike, Google Assistant controller, home automation, a room cleaner, smart dustbin, people think about me that he is a kid.
Okay, let me answer this, at least my perspective on this, and then I'm sure you all can come in as well.
Yes.
Success of any innovation, any design, any product is a mix of several factors, right? One factor definitely is luck, which probably is not in your hand, not in our hand, but luck is a very important factor. The other factors are, for example, something like timing, the way you market it, the product that you build, who do you get on board, who do you show the product to? So in everything that this particular person has mentioned in the question, let me take the example of one of the items that they've said, a room cleaner. Now, there is a very popular company in the US, which is known as iRobot. iRobot makes automatic, robotic vacuum cleaners, which is very, very popular in the US. Okay, almost every house in the US has that product, I think so. I also bought it, and I brought it to India. And trust me, when I bought it about, I think now 4 years ago, leaving day one where we all played with it because it was an interesting digital gadget, that's about it. After that one day that we used it, it did not get used for the next 4 years. Why? It did not get used because in the Indian context of the way we live, the way our conditions are in terms of we probably need to sweep our house or clean a house every 2 hours, that product cannot be successful. So iRobot has no market share in India. Now, iRobot is not even present in India. So probably they're not selling it for the Indian market. They probably need to build a product specific for the Indian market. I picked up something from the US market and got it here. So probably it did not work. So coming back to what the question is, that look at robotics which solve the problems of this country. Look at something which solves the issues here. Let's not only make a robot because it's fashion. Let's not make a robot which people should say, oh, what a wonderful thing you've done. Solve a situation or a solution, or bring a solution which actually works for a niche market that you're targeting or the masses. And as I said, there are other things required. You need to have the right timing, you need to have the right market, you need to have the right customer, you need to have the right financer, etc. So if those people who are saying that this is a kiddie thing you have done, I personally don't agree. It's probably the wrong people who you have shown it to, and maybe it's not the right solution. So look at making something which solves the problems here. You can do automation in terms of, or use robotics in terms of, for example, again in the COVID situation, the way we are checking the temperature for every individual, the way we are dispensing the liquid that we're all washing our hands with. Look at automation on those lines. That's probably the need of the hour. And introduce more machine learning, AI in those products so that you go to the next generation. So people let's not get worried about people. There will be people who will try to bog you down because they don't want you to succeed. But have confidence in yourself, have confidence in what you're doing, and be realistic. And slowly, when you move ahead, you will come up with something which will succeed if you have your sights set out on it. And if your thoughts are crystal clear, it will succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Varun, for that. Yeah, just to add our perspective as well. Yeah, I believe in terms of all of the devices that this person has created, it is really wonderful in terms of the kind of diversification that is there in all of the tools. Yeah, and also the thing is that as Varun mentioned, the people who have seen this is basically very naive in terms of what can be done and how it can be expanded into different areas as well. Because all of this is basically trying to make the life easier of us as well as for others as well. So these are things that will come into the society. It just keep coming, as Varun just mentioned, in the COVID situation. We have these automatic dispensing hand sanitizers coming in. We have a lot of other devices like the AGVs coming into the hospitals or the hospitality sectors, where it works on the obstacle avoidance detection mechanism. Yeah, where it can be used to give medicines as well as food to the patients who are suffering and in isolation wards. So these kind of technologies are coming. We will have to adopt it into our markets as well, and you will find that these kind of things will be developed by every people within the society. Yeah, just like when computers came in, we said that people will lose jobs. We said that people will be trying to understand that. But this created a big job market for us. Yeah, Tata, Infosys all had a lot of people, and they have centers across the major cities within India. Yeah, so the robotics is something that is going to shape the future as well, in terms of this kind of the same mindset. So right now we are not there, but I believe within the next 10 years we will see a big robotic market within India. And that's where we are heading to. So with that, let us, I think, jump to the presentation as well. Yes, Varun. Yes.
Small point to come in. While you were talking, I realized that to the person who asked this question, as I started with, you need to have the right mix. So in terms of right mix is also have the right partnerships, have the right platform. And maybe this is the best platform. Join hands with INKER Robotics. They will probably be able to give you access. And they are definitely not thinking what you've done is kiddish. This is a step. You don't come up with brilliant ideas, just on one day. For years together, people thought that Steve Jobs at Apple is a fool. What is he doing? And look at how things worked out. Now, I'm not saying it will work out for everyone. Everyone is trying, but keep at it. Join the right platforms, have the right partnerships, speak to the right people. That will give the confidence to move ahead. So again, all the best to everyone, and all the best for this seminar.
Thank you so much, Varun, for being a part of it. And thank you for the inspiring talk.
Thank you, Praveen.
Thank you for sharing your inputs.
Thank you.
So I guess we can now head on to the main presentation, the core presentation. It would really be nice if I have an idea of what kind of a background all of you come from. Are you engineering students? Are you working already? I mean, what kind of a mix have we in this room? It would be really nice if I could have some idea on the same. You can just put it on the chat box, so I have a fair idea of what kind of a mix we have here. All of you are welcome to put in your comments. Are you people working somewhere, or are you students? What kind of a crowd have you? Just to have a quick idea, it would be nice. I know some of the people, but I guess there are a lot of people I would not know. So you can just put in your comments. You can mark out the comments in the chat box. Okay. Oh, wow. We have somebody from the defense. Amazing. So that's one area which definitely has a very, very, pivotal role in terms of robotics and artificial intelligence, as I understand. So I presume most of the people in this room are actually working. If I'm not sure, we have a student. Finance is okay. Finance, we have a student. We have somebody who's mentioned that you're working on a robo which will help doctors during COVID-19. Amazing! Wow, that's really something to be very proud of, And like in hospital instruments trolley, which can be controlled by mobile. And I am adding one more thing in this. This will follow our doctors like a human follower. Amazing! This is very close to the technology we are planning to develop, right? Okay, we have somebody from the solar industry. Amazing. We have students and we have people who are a mix of the corporate world, as I understand. Okay. So guys, today what we're going to talk about is we have somebody from the academic side also. Really, really impressive, proud of people. Somebody who's a PhD scholar, Miss Seema Taman. Okay, great. Miss Meenakshi, who's into academics. Mr. Hemant Jain from the solar industry. We have Vikas, who's just completed the 12th grade, and you would like to take AI for your future study. Amazing, because I think that's the best decision you could take at this given point, Okay, so for the benefit of all the people present here, I would like to begin with a very, very short video. It's just an entertaining video, and then we will move on from there. I'm sure you would be able to connect with this movie. But it's important for me that you watch this movie so that I connect with what I'm going to speak about hereafter. So enjoy. So well, are we able to connect with this scenario back in school or college? A lot of times, a lot of things that are taught to us, probably is so theoretical and absolutely not applicable in the real job scene, right? So this is exactly what our educational system right now looks like. So it is time that we, orient our syllabus, orient our education to such an extent that it is applicable in the real life scenario. What is the kind of situation we are all in right now? Especially our students, our friend from the 12th grade, especially in this room, I would like to point this out to him and the other students in the room as well, that we are in a vicious circle right now. The students are in a vicious circle right now. And what is this vicious circle all about? We are being taught a syllabus which is almost like 6 to 7 years redundant. All what we are learning right now is based on a syllabus which is redundant and out of scope. It is not in line with the trends right now. What is the result of this? The result of this is we are not able to apply all what we learn in the classroom. That's one. And because we are not able to apply what we learn in the classroom, what is the final impact of all this thing? The final impact is we are not skilled enough to be employed in industries. So there is a big gap in skilling and the knowledge that is being imparted at school or college. So what happens is we have a big population, a big mass of people who have all the qualification in the world, who have all the degrees in the world, but unfortunately are not employable. And this big gap in skilling is something we have to really address seriously and to make sure that our education, all our trainings are imparted and done in a way that people are able to become operational at a job on day one. When we take engineering, when we join professional courses, we do it with so much of zest and so much of interest, thinking, yes, we will find a good job, we will secure ourselves, and yes, we are going to really, really make a difference and impact. But the reality is when you get into the mainstream is where you realize all this is just a sham. You are not able to really, really get into a job from day one and be operational on day one. Every company, however big a company it could be, they have to spend a whole lot of money to train people who join jobs because they are not skilled enough to fit into the kind of job culture or the kind of system that the company follows. So what happens as a result, we are all in a situation where we learn a lot, we have all the degrees, but are not able to apply. And this is a scenario we get to see most of the time. All of us have learned differential mathematics in school and college, right? But how many of us really apply differential mathematics in the real work scenario? How many of us are able to apply all our knowledge on day one and be successful there without any training? It is a very, very rare case, right? So it is very, very important that our system does a reality check and makes sure that we get our courses and systems in such a place at such a level that children are able to find jobs, and this gap between skilling and education or knowledge is kind of minimized as far as possible. There is a recent study which was done by the World Economic Forum. We know any data which comes from the World Economic Forum is a very, very, very authentic data. So I have a data which we checked out recently, which says that 9 out of 10 jobs within the next few years is going to be digitized, which means 50% of all the jobs available right now is going to be automated. So what message does that give all of us? It gives us a very, very simple understanding that it is very, very crucial, very, very important for us to learn digital skills, to learn all these skills which are required to fit ourselves into that right job. So it is very, very important that you keep pace with technology, you upskill yourself, because upskilling is the key word. You might have all the degree in the world, but doesn't matter if you're not skilled enough to be able to handle those jobs and those technologies which are required to get those jobs running. So there is this slide I would like to share with you from the World Economic Forum. Trust me, this scenario could be fast-paced now with the advent of COVID and this big pandemic that has hit us. I feel we would be in a position now wherein we will have to learn these skills a lot faster because it is time that this automation process will get faster now. It will be more fast-paced than what it was expected. This particular report was published in January 2020, way before the pandemic hit all of us. So it clearly mentions that in the next 10 years' time, more than 50% jobs will be changed by automation, will be taken over by automation. So do we need to worry, all of us? Do we need to worry? Do we need to worry that our jobs are going to be taken away by automation and digitization? To an extent, yes, but at the same time, there is also good news. The good news is this is just the right time and just the right opportunity for you to pick up all those skills which are required through this whole process of automation. Because no machine, no robo can automate itself. It does require human support to build it, to operate it, and to maintain it. So we have a whole plethora of opportunities out there. All we need to do is just go out there, upskill ourselves, and get all those skills that we require to be there. In fact, there was a recent study which was done by IBM, and this is a very, very interesting study that we came across, wherein IBM through its series of surveys came to the conclusion that knowledge at this given point is expanding at the rate of 11 to 12 hours. Can you believe it? There's this beautiful book written by Mark Rosenberg called The Critical Path, in which he had mentioned that knowledge expands in every 25 years. But where are we today? We are at a point where there is knowledge bombardment every 11 to 12 hours, as per what IBM has found out in the year 2020, that is this year. And what does this particular graph indicate? It indicates that we have to really work hard. We have to be really fast-paced to be able to fit ourselves into this sector, this fast-changing world. So it is important that we gain all the knowledge, we upskill ourselves, and get to this technology which is going to take us far in life, and we don't really need to worry about things. When man started working, we had a very agrarian background. We were in an age where man was a farmer. Physical skills were given more importance as compared to any of your, intellectual skills. Sorry. And as life progressed, from an agrarian worker, man moved to factories. And that is where the advent of industrial revolution, the first industrial revolution, happened. And a lot of people lost their jobs because it was very, very important that these people would be able to handle machines in factories. A lot of people could not do that, which is what led to a lot of people losing jobs. That is why it's called the Industrial Revolution, and life became fast-paced because production increased. There was a lot of impact on the whole work culture and the way things were being produced. And from there happened the advent of computers. Computer got invented. I'm sorry. And when computers came into our lives, it was the knowledge era where people were supposed to know how to tackle machines, how to tackle programming and things. And from there, now today, as we stand, what is given most importance? Our intellectual property. It is not just enough to know computers or programming. You need to be really, really creative and add on a lot to the world. Internet is a big revolution that has happened, and it's called the third industrial revolution, wherein the technologies like Facebook, social networking, programming, Java, Python, all these things are happening right now. Now, this is not enough, guys. We are very soon going to hit the fourth industrial revolution, which is called the information age. And this is the age where we really need to upskill ourselves. And those are the technologies which are really, really going to take charge of the way the world works and progresses.
And I think here we have, the kind of technologies that will take over in the new digital era. Yeah, we have blockchain, we have system integration, we have analytics, we have artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things. We have the autonomous robotics, which Varun spoke about as well. At the start, and we have the cyber security and the human-assisted robot as well. We just wanted to hear from the people in the room. In terms of which of these technologies do you think will be, very crucial for us to succeed in terms of, in terms of how we do things seamlessly.
Absolutely.
Just want to ensure that, can you put that in the chat box, please?
Yeah, we would love to hear from you.
Yeah, we would love to hear from you in terms of what you think. Yeah.
So people,
yeah.
So which of these technologies you feel are really going to make an impact on, our future work culture, workforce? Are you guys able to hear us? Just ping us and say yes, you can, so we know we are all on the same page. Okay, good. All right.
So any response, guys? Yeah. So finance is telling AI.
AI, okay, excellent.
Excellent. Anybody else?
Anybody else? So what would you feel would be the ruling technology? Finance, you're right. AI is going to really play a big role. It already is, I would say, and it's bringing in a lot of changes in the way companies and industries work. So you're absolutely right here. Absolutely.
So what do you think,
Well, I think all of these are quite crucial, Amit, and of these, I think system integration is very important, because that's where all these technologies can be put together to build something, which is more bombastic and more value added. Somebody, Seema just mentioned machine learning and Internet of Things. Excellent, Seema. So nice to hear that from you. Voice is not very clear. Okay. Is that better now? Varunji, is that better? I hope I'm a lot more clearer now. Okay. All right. So happy to hear that, Seema ji. Okay, great. I'm happy to hear that we are much more audible now. All you wonderful people here, I mean, as we see, these are the technologies which are definitely will rule the forthcoming times. So Vikas here mentions that AI will rule the upcoming. Yes, you're right, Vikas. I would be taking you through a brief snapshot of all these technologies mentioned here in a short while from now. Robotics. Meenakshi says robotics. Great, excellent. So happy to hear your responses. All of you are right. All these technologies are going to take a big shape in the way the world works and looks in the future. And I will take you through a brief snapshot of all these shortly. We'll just watch a small video before we move further. And I want you to see what this is all about. This is the basic application of technologies in the world today. This is how technology is supporting agriculture, as we can see.
Yeah, you can see precision farming in action here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that it results in higher yields of crops.
That's INKER Prithvi, which is used for agricultural purposes. Any dearth of manpower can be covered through this technology, where we can, we can give manure and fertilizer to the soil using drone surfaces. This is how you can get your house painted if you're not able to find people to paint your house. This is where technology comes into play. Look at the awesomeness of the whole technology out here. This is a 3D printing technology which this is an in-house product manufactured at our Dubai office, and this is using the 3D printing technology. Look at the precision with which you can create images from just a piece of paper, where you have a drawing which can translate into a prototype of any kind that you would like. How is that? Beautiful, isn't it? Now this is the real-time use of this very same technology for 3D printing. You can come up with huge buildings without much manpower. See what the magic they create from zero using this technology. This is the industrial arm or robotic arm, which could support with lifting things or doing the routine, mundane, heavy-duty jobs, which can be taken care of by these machines. Would you see how technology really, really impacts our life? All this technology is to support mankind. And we can use it to the best of mankind if we are able to apply these. And to apply these, we need to upskill, as you've just seen, Now, what's the next thing that we need to know? Now, to upskill, you need to know which are these technologies that you really need to upskill on. And this is all going to support the advent of the fourth industrial revolution, as you call it. And we all have to be future ready. And these are the technologies which will get us ready for the fourth industrial revolution. And we have put it in a particular sequence, starting with digital marketing, going up to 3D printing, robotic process automation, RPA as you call it, cloud computing, blockchain, and of course, artificial intelligence. Amit, would you like to add a couple of points here?
Yeah, sure. I think in terms of some of the comments that came in, you could see that artificial intelligence is very important.
Yes, very, very
and it has a crucial piece in terms of future jobs as well. You will see more jobs opening up in artificial intelligence as data scientists, as also in terms of autonomous cars and in AI, using AI technologies.
Yes.
You will see many industries adopting this. Robotic process automation is also very crucial.
Right.
Wherein we can see in terms of banking sector, for example,
very, very
a lot of back-end processes will be automated using this technology. Blockchain is again very important and critical because you will see that the currencies will be moving in terms of blockchains, which is more secure. Transactions will happen, and people will be needing to understand the technology in the near future as well. I see 5 years from now, currencies and everything will move into a blockchain technology. So it's very important. I think the video tells it all in terms of 3D printing.
Yes.
Let's proceed in terms of next thing. I think there's a question which we can answer towards the end as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can we know more about it?
Yes.
We have a specific dedicated section for question answers, and we will come back to your question on that. Now, I'll be talking very briefly about each of these technologies for the benefit of those people, especially the students in this room who do not know much about these technologies, so that you have a better understanding of what is expected of these. The next technology I would like to introduce is the first one here called digital marketing. Now, how many of us here do not use, I would say, WhatsApp, Facebook, Gmail, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn? What are all these technologies based on actually? The technology that all these, social networking sites and all these apps are based on is basically digital marketing. Today, it is so easy for us to be known and for us to showcase our talents in these given times because we have this technology to our benefit. Now, if you have a small creation which you've done, you can reach out to the whole world on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or all of these platforms because you have this amazing technology called digital marketing in your sites. So all the technology, even a common man today who is using this technology to his benefit and to be connected with the whole world and for a whole lot of transactions as well. So you see, this is definitely a technology which is on, I would say, right now, and it is only going to go places. You must have seen, when you go to some of the sites, you see an automated chat box where it's not a human being, but the system interacting with you. Now, those chat boxes are also based on this technology called digital marketing. I would run a very quick video, which is very, very short, for you to have a better understanding of what I am mentioning here.
Digital marketing is the promotion of products or brands via electronic media. By using digital marketing channels and methods, you can analyze your marketing campaigns to understand what is working and what isn't, typically in real time. While the internet is the channel most closely associated with digital marketing, other channels are important. Digital media is everywhere. Consumers can access information wherever, whenever, and however they want it. And they are no longer influenced by just what you say about your brand. In fact, consumers are more likely to be influenced by what others say about your brand. The reality is that people prefer brands that they can trust, companies that know them, communications that are personalized and relevant, and offers that are tailored to their anticipated needs and preferences. Digital marketing can help you deliver all that.
So that's a little bite on digital marketing, and you can see it is all over the world, all over the place, all over our fingertips. We can't do without it, right? And what's the next technology we're going to talk about? This is a technology I'm so very passionate about. It's called the 3D printing technology. We just saw a video which have showcased how important and how crucial this technology is and how it helps us create prototypes and real big time projects based on this technology without much human intervention. Now, people, I would like to bring your attention to this small robo on the left-hand side of the slide. This is an in-house product we at INKER are so proud of. It is called the INKER Alton. Now, this is a humanoid robo which was created with the sole purpose of educating children in the classroom. And this robo is an amazing teacher. There might be a point in future where you will see more of these trainers or mentors who are robotic, humanoid robots in the classroom. And this is something really, really exciting. And people, let me tell you why we have placed this particular robo next to a 3D printing picture is because if you look at all the outer parts, the entire mold for this particular robo is created in-house. We have a 3D printing department which is doing the entire mold for this, Alton-based robo, and this is being done in-house. The prototypes were produced, this was worked on, and this project is live right now. So you will very soon see a whole lot of humanoid Alton robots in the classrooms. Am I right?
Yes, right.
Yeah, so that is what this amazing technology is all about, You don't see a complete picture there because we're still working on it, and you will see a whole lot of these robots in the classroom, and you can get all your students excited when it reaches our classrooms, and it's a very interactive robot which can teach easily. Amit, would you like to add anything here?
Yeah, a couple of things in terms of 3D printing. Yeah, it's basically the kind of materials that you use for 3D printing can vary, as you guys saw in the video, from plastics into cement materials as well. And that's where different kind of 3D printers will be used, from practical applications to industrial applications.
Yes.
Yeah. let's go into the next technology.
Absolutely. Well, I may not want to play the video for this because you've already seen it. So just move head on to the next technology directly. Now the next technology we have here is called RPA. We keep hearing about it all the time, and I was really excited when I got to know what this RPA is all about. I got to know, I was carried away by the word robotics, and I thought there must be some humanoid robots standing there doing things, but no. RPA is basically a small software, and it is such an amazing software. It has the capacity to integrate a whole lot of processes together, whole lot of mundane, long processes into a very systemized, organized process. Now this is one technology, like Amit had mentioned earlier. It is big time being used in the banking sector because there are a lot of routine, mundane works which transactions which happen, which are taken care of by this particular technology. Anything you would like to add here, Amit?
Yeah, I think this technology is more in terms of back-end works that can be automated. UiPath is basically the software that is helping.
Prism, that's another one.
That's another one which is helping in terms of these kind of processes. There's a huge scope for job opportunities in this space. In this particular space, wherein you can see in the banking sector, in the hotel industries, a lot of these applications, wherein that's where they do the customer satisfaction, in terms of having all of these processes automated, so that you get all of your, email reminders and things like that.
Wow.
Yes. All of that is using this robotic process automation, wherein it tracks you. In your user journey, and that's where it brings in a different customer experience as well. So people are using robotic process automations nowadays to ensure that customers are satisfied. The mundane tasks are basically automated, and they reduce labor there and workforce dependencies on those labor. And a lot of these tasks specifically even in the hospitality industries are being done using these kind of applications.
What an amazing technology!
Yes, and that's where I think it's evolving, and there's a lot of people required to do these kind of tasks as well.
Yes,
and that's where there's a lot of job opportunities being opened up in this space. Yeah.
So people, I hope you're listening to this. There is amazing scope available in this RPA tools space, where you should learn this technology, and it is really going to impact a whole lot of workplaces on a big time, on a big basis, on a tall basis, I'd like to show you a small video which would just highlight what we just spoke about.
What is RPA? Robotic Process Automation, RPA, is a technology that allows a computer program or robot to replicate otherwise manual processes in an automated, repeatable, and reliable manner. Just like a human, robots can open emails and attachments, log into applications, read databases, collect data, follow if or then decisions, fill in forms and perform calculations. RPA solutions allow organizations to do more with less, minimizing risks through increased visibility and audit trails. Typically, robots operate around 3 times faster than a human worker. How could RPA tools benefit the Treasury? Robots are best suited for tasks that are repetitive, rule-based, and incorporate structured digital data. In the Treasury space, RPA could be used to automate a number of labor-intensive day-to-day processes, freeing up high-value employees' time for activities such as problem-solving, exception handling, and troubleshooting. Payment processing, invoice management, reporting and reconciliation, in particular, lend themselves to RPA. Similarly, robots could be used to assemble, analyze, and organize the vast amounts of data treasurers require to produce accurate and timely cash forecasts.
So that was some insight about RPA, and what's the next technology we're going to introduce here right now. a very, very amazing technology called the cloud computing technology. People, there was a time, you know, when we had a whole box which used to collect data for all the transactions, all the message exchange which used to happen in the offices. So what was happening was this data collection was becoming a big task, and it was difficult and colossal to place all these data boxes. So what did technology come up with? What is it that our, you know, technical geeks came up with? They came up with an amazing technology called the cloud computing. Now, what is cloud computing? It is basically a virtual data storage center, you know, where all the you know, messages that you transfer, all our systems are actually connected to this one virtual storage space called cloud computing. And this is where any messages that you send through your WhatsApp, through your emailing, through any kind of database, the messages that you send, it all gets collected and it gets stored in a virtual space called the cloud computing. Now, what is the best thing about this particular technology? The best benefit of this technology is it has a very high speed. You can retrieve data whenever you want. You can store as much of data as you like. There is no limitation on the space. You have an absolute backup of all the data that you save. And what is more, you know, all this is done through software integration at different levels. And the best thing I would like to tell here is that the data, a lot of people ask me, what about the security of our data? Yes, all our data is end-to-end encrypted. So the data is secure, it is high speed, and the storage capacity is definitely not a worry at all. So this is a great virtual storage space that technology has offered us, and we don't have to really worry about where, how, and you know, how do we secure our data and where is our data going. I have a small video here on this, which I would skip because we're short of time. Amit, anything you would like to add? Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next best technology that we have here, which is my favorite these days. Amit knows about it. It's called the blockchain. Now, this blockchain is an amazing technology, which is basically nothing but it is basically you know, what you call a decentralized ledger that we have. You know, it is absolutely secure. Nobody can hack it. Nobody can steal it. It is actually, if you talk of blockchain, only 1% of the population knows about blockchain. But would you know the value of transactions which is happening through this technology today? It is 19.9+ lakh rupees. Our demonetized value of currencies was just 15 lakhs. But this technology already has 19 lakh rupees in circulation through this particular technology. Everything is going to be cryptocurrency tomorrow. Everything is going to be, right now money is digitized, but there will be a point where everything would be based on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. You don't need any physical transfer of money in coming times. And this is such an amazing technology. It is secure. Nobody can steal your data, and your data is not held by any one particular company or any one particular entity. Like for example, right now, all the messages that you send through Gmail is under Google. All the messages, news feeds that you share on Facebook is, you know, is under the Facebook server. But this technology offers you an absolutely distributed and decentralized data keeping, where nobody takes charge of your data. It is absolutely end-to-end encrypted and absolutely secured. And this is one technology which has a colossal, a massive opportunity, I would say. And anybody can do this technology. You don't have to be an engineer or a technology-based person. Anybody would need to understand this technology. Just as all of us need to understand internet, this is the internet of the future. So we all need to understand what blockchain is about, because it is going to impact all the industries across the sector, be it hospitality, healthcare, commerce and finance. Talk about any particular sector. Blockchain is the in thing, and it is very, very important we understand this technology to the core. And this is just the time to learn it. Amit, anything you want to add here?
No, I think I've just covered it in my earlier talk.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So there's a small video which I'm going to skip again because I've already mentioned all what is there. Let's move on to the next technology that I have on mind. Yes, artificial intelligence. I think, Amit, you should talk about this.
Yes, thanks, Pravina. So here in terms of artificial intelligence, it's very important that we understand what it is, and where it plays a role, wherein it's a place where a lot of things can be automated. Whatever we are doing.
Ambit,
Yes.
your voice is actually breaking.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Is it better?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm telling about artificial intelligence is basically in terms of the importance of artificial intelligence is that this is a space where it's still being created. A lot of things are being created in the space where things can be automated. Yeah. In terms of autonomous driving cars are being created using AI technology. Yeah. In terms of
we have a lot of customer services attendants in hospitals.
Yes, chatbots and things like that. Yeah, Tesla is making the self-autonomous car as we're looking at it, and others are following suit on that as well. Yeah, there's a lot of image and face recognition softwares using AI technology. Yeah, this is going to be tracking each and every one of us in the future. Absolutely. In terms of where we are moving and how we are moving, and this is going to be used because of what happened right now because of the pandemic. Yeah. Wherein in terms of tracking a person is becoming very difficult in case the person is being affected by COVID-19. So these kind of technologies will come in, where humans can be tracked to that certain extent. Absolutely. And also in terms of ensuring that it starts creating by itself its own data. Absolutely. And that's where this technology is evolving into, wherein it requires that it learns by itself and understands, what we are thinking and brings out new use cases so that it can think on its own. We're not there yet in terms of the technology, but we will very soon get there, and that's the potential. Once the power of artificial intelligence will be unleashed, once it comes into that kind of a scenario, which it will very soon. Absolutely. That's all what I wanted to cover in terms of artificial intelligence.
In fact, Amit, I have to mention it here. I feel so proud being associated with an organization like INKER, where we have a whole lot of think tanks. And trust me, INKER gives its people a free hand, and we have a very dynamic team in the R&D sector, and they are developing an automated, self-automated car, as I could see, And I remember, Amit, when the COVID, this pandemic began, INKER team had developed a hands-free sanitizer, which is also supplied to a whole lot of hospitals, And I think that was a great social initiative that, INKER had done. And it feels very, very proud the way artificial intelligence is being applied in our R&D labs, to come out with some of the best, trend-setting, products down the line, as I would say. And the best thing about INKER is we don't believe in keeping knowledge to ourselves. We believe in knowledge diversification, and there's a whole lot of trainings that INKER also does apart from product development. Okay, people, now to the next technology. There's a small video which I would skip if you don't mind, because we are very short of time. This is the next in thing that you all get to see also. Most of the classrooms, as we understand, is applying this technology, which is augmented reality, virtual reality. And this particular technology can actually give life to a whole lot of things, which is only on our minds, And it gives us a space and opportunity to experience these things live through technology. And this is one technology which INKER also promotes in a big way in its classrooms. And the students, whatever they're learning, they get a kind of opportunity to touch and feel things, through technology, through the augmented reality and, virtual reality. And I have seen a lot of excitement in the classroom, when it comes to this particular reality. In fact, even talking of the healthcare sector, I know a lot of doctors conduct, operations using this technology as a dummy operations, I would say, using this technology, because they can actually see things which are actually not there, and understand how best technology can be applied in the real life scenario also. Amit, would you like to throw some light here? Because I think this technology is also a big thing in these given times.
Yes, I think this technology is more of a simulation kind of a software that we are using, where it gives a 3D animated view to the students. Yeah, and it's being used right now in terms of the educational sector as well, where it plays a major role in terms of how students can learn things and visualize things in a different manner. Because we believe that once students are able to visualize things, it will have a higher retention rate for them.
Absolutely.
And that's where a lot of softwares are being developed in the space as well, that can help in this kind of domain, in terms of ensuring that people are able to visualize things in a better way. Yes, sorry.
Yes, please.
Can you hear me?
Actually breaking. You are far from your. I think
mic. Okay. Sorry for that. Okay. So what I was telling is this is a space that or a domain which has more implications in the educational sector, wherein students who are not able to see, especially in rural areas and places like that, this technology can help students to visualize things and help them understand things in a better fashion, because it has 3D stimulated, so people can see and feel how it looks like, and that's where and that's where we help with this technology as well, especially when it comes to augmented reality. You can see things in a different view in terms of how things can be approached as well.
Yes.
Okay. I think do you have a video for this?
I do,
Yes, please. Let's play that.
Would make it more clear.
These days, we spend a lot of time looking at screens. Computers, smartphones, and televisions are a big part of our lives. They're how we get most of our news, use social media, watch movies, and more. Virtual reality and augmented reality are two technologies changing the way we use screens, creating new and exciting interactive experiences. Virtual reality, also known as VR, uses a headset with a built-in screen that displays a virtual environment for you to explore. These headsets use a technology called head tracking, which allows you to look around the environment by simply moving your head. Augmented reality, or AR, is a bit different. Instead of transporting you to a virtual world, it takes digital images and layers them on the real world around you. This is done through the use of either a clear visor or a smartphone. So with VR, you could explore a world full of dinosaurs. But with AR, you could see those dinosaurs moving through the world around you. Both of these technologies are growing at a rapid pace and being implemented in a variety of different ways. Surgeons are using VR to practice highly technical surgeries before operating. Businesses are using them to give consumers virtual tours of products and locations. There are even apps that can use your smartphone's camera to scan and translate a foreign language in real time. As they continue to grow, VR and AR have the potential to greatly change almost every industry. You'll want to keep an eye on them to see how they might soon affect your job and potentially your everyday life.
So that gives a better insight into this whole technology, and you can see there's so much more for us to look forward to, right? Now, maybe a small ride into the INKER space, where I want you to look at what we are doing. That's INKER Robotics for the So all you wonderful people, that was a quick run into the kind of things that we do here at INKER. And thank you so much for your patience and for all the time that you spent with us for now. I'm sure you would have a whole lot of questions for us, and we would love to hear from you. I hope we've been able to give you some insight into all the technologies which are going to impact our life. In the future, some of these are already impacting our life right now. Can we know more about ABB Robotics, solar photovoltaic, robotic solutions for coronavirus 19, COVID-19?
Yes, I think let's answer. Yeah, I think we can expect more questions to come in. So people in the group, if you have any questions, feel free to raise it at this point of time. Yeah. So we're looking at the first question is, can we know a bit more about ABB's robotics solar photovoltaic? So this is basically solar energy kind of renewable energy kind of machines that is being created by ABB, and they're using robotics to create it. They're using robotic arms and things like that to create these kind of technologies for us. So the precision, the accuracy, and in terms of human errors can be minimized when they're using robotics to create these kind of technologies.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's where these kind of ABB is also using robotic arms to do these kind of things, because it has to have precision in it in terms of how they are putting the panels and everything. So it's being used, in terms of robotics as well.
Very interesting.
We'll see more of it in terms of other kind of applications as well.
Absolutely.
So that is where ABB arms are helping in terms of the process. I hope that answered your question.
Nitin did ask us one more question a while before, which was, can we know more about humanoid robots?
Yes. So humanoid robots are certain kind of robots, that can help in terms of being a personal assistant kind of a thing.
Right.
It can replace machines.
Yeah,
sorry for that, Deepak. Yeah.
I hope that's better now.
I hope it's better now. Yeah. So humanoid robots are a kind of robots that help in terms of replacing a receptionist or a kind of a security kind of a person. It can be used for a person comes into a lobby or kind of a thing.
They welcome, right?
They can welcome the person and understand from them where and if the person has an appointment or any other why that person has come into that office, understand who is available and guide them to that kind of a particular person. It can use a line follower, or it can use a SLAM, where a SLAM is basically it understands and does a 3D mapping of the whole area. Okay, and so it does that localization, and it can take it to from the reception to any of the offices that is required.
Right.
So this is how it works. Yeah, there are a lot of these kind of humanoid robot that is available right now in the market. Which can be used for commercial purposes. This one that you see behind us is basically a Sandbot Elf, which can be used as a receptionist robot. It can be used as a personal assistant as well. So you'll see more of these kind of robots coming in and being used in different places like hotels, office lobbies, and places like that. Okay. So
it can also be used as an entertainment agent. A Sandbot can dance, as I understand.
Yes, it can dance. It can dance. It can avoid people and walk.
Yes.
So it has multiple purposes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I don't think people will use it as a play or a toy right now.
Yeah. It's a very serious
it's
gadget.
Very serious gadget and things. So Going into Nitin's another question in terms of
no, this we already answered. The third one, yeah.
Basically, in terms of robotic solutions for COVID situation.
Very good question.
Yeah, so we've seen a lot of applications of these kind of robotic solutions, where one of them was the automatic dispensing hand sanitizers that is being used, and it is coming up. And I think it is going to stay for some more time.
Absolutely.
Because everywhere you go, you need to have these kind of precautionary measures taken. Yeah, the other application is like the AGV that Varun was talking about in terms of
automated self-driving vehicles.
Automated self-driving vehicles that is needed in hospitals or in terms of hotels, which can have different applications. A couple of applications that I can talk about right now is basically in terms of giving medicines or food to people who are in isolations, so that it doesn't have to be given by nurses, so that the chances or probability of them getting contaminated or being tested positive is minimized. And the other one is basically in hotels or places where these isolation wards are there, which needs to be UV or sterilized by ultraviolet rays. So it's very powerful rays. So basically these kind of devices can go there, scan the place, and then do the ultraviolet sterilization. And then come out of it. So it doesn't require or it requires minimal human intervention there. Yeah. So these are the kind of robotic solutions that is coming up. There are thermal scanners as well that can automatically detect patients without stopping them. These kind of solutions are coming in. Yeah, so these are some of the things where you can see that practical applications are being used in this current situation. We will see more and more solutions like this coming in. The other one that was talking about cloud computing is where everything in terms of learning is going online for school students and things like that. So again, a lot of robotics coming in there as well to a certain extent. Yeah. The next question is in terms of which would be the energy that would be used for the further technology rather than solar. I think solar is very critical, but at the end of the day, we see that most of these robotic solutions that we have right now are running on power, which requires batteries. Yeah, these batteries will last for some time. Lithium-ion batteries are being used. So these are the kind of things that we are using right now.
We'll have to recharge or
look at it in a different way. Yes. There are autonomous driving cars as well, which is using the same kind of technology as well. So solar is not there yet in terms of the kind of energy that is being used for robotics.
Absolutely.
But very soon, once we know that we are in that level, it will start moving into solar energy.
Absolutely. The potentialities will sink in ultimately. Can these robots work on Hindi command? I think yes.
I think it is. It is multiple languages.
For us, lot of organizations where Hindi is only important language. For us, definitely there is a need of robots on their institutions or organizations also. So this is the main important question for all of us in North India at least.
Right. No, I don't think language is a barrier as far as this is concerned, right? It's all about embedding software at the end.
Yes, right? It's basically embedding the software in the end in terms of how, like a sandbot. Right now we have a sandbot here. Yeah, it can follow multiple languages. Yeah, and Hindi could be one of them.
Yes.
But when it comes into coding, for example, I think the next question from Anupriya Kumari was in terms of code.
Can we write in C and C++?
Yes. C++ is more of embedded. C is where we can write languages.
Okay.
Yeah, Python is the most famous language that is being used in terms of coding nowadays. And that is the base for artificial intelligence or basically data science as well. And that's where, that will be the language that will stay for some more time. It's more powerful than C.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically that's the language that we all should be learning, in case we are going into that kind of a domain that is there.
Yes. No, Finance has a question.
Yeah, I think Shyam is there also on the line. Shyam can take up this question from Finance.
Yeah.
Shyam, can you hear us? Yeah. Do you want to answer, give a brief on the IoT?
Okay. Let me introduce that thing before starting about IoT. So that IoT, everything is connected to Internet of Things. That's the IoT actually. So like for example, I'll talk about IoT using an example like Amazon Alexa. If you go there, if you can you can command the light, fan, and everything using an Amazon Alexa is an example of IoT. Hello.
Yes, Shyam. We are hearing you. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes. And if you swipe your card, you get a message. The data is being connected to a server. All these things are happening because of IoT, that is Internet of Things. So the Internet of Things is coming in the concept of being smart refrigerator, smart room, smart classroom, smart city, everything. All these things are based on that Internet of Things, I believe. And for hello.
Yes, Shyam, we can hear you. Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Yes, Shyam, go ahead.
Shyam, we can hear you. That was very nicely explained.
Yeah. So that IoT comes there actually, in that where the lot of devices can be connected in the internet, and that it can connect it to the cloud storage. They can the devices can be communicated using the servers, and that all these things are for making our life more easy. So I believe that IoT is having a very big role after this amid COVID situation, because whether you don't need to go for office, no, you can simply sit in home and do your work, right? All these things these things, and you can do all the controlling your system from your home, using the team viewer or kind of applications. These things, and you can control the office, the components, whatever devices are available in your office, that you can control it from your home using all this the technology called IoT.
I think we can say all IoT is all about connectivity and integrated connectivity, and I can say the smart connectivity between all the equipments, all the tools, all the softwares. It calls IoT.
Yes. And slowly we are getting there in terms of IoT. I can give you an example. If I can switch on my home lights before I reach home, and ensure that the AC is switched on, that's where IoT is heading to, in terms of, so with the introduction of 5G, I think we will be, very soon, we will be very soon able to expand into that segment as well, where we can do things using a mobile phone and a good connectivity. Yeah. Okay. So I think Finance, I believe, and we answered that question for you. Yeah. So can we know more about humanoid robot hardware? Is it based on a microcontroller or a microprocessor? In INKER Robot, have your own platform like embedded OS? Yes. So humanoid robots, it works on it works on ROS. Most of the platforms are built on robotic operating systems. Yeah, the one that we built, the INKER Alten that you have seen, is using. This is basically for students to learn, and that is the reason why you can see the interior of that robot. So these are using micro processors. It was using Arduino boards. Yeah, that was the brain of it. We had also, I think, one of the controls we have Raspberry Pi as well.
Wow.
So people can learn about it from that boards. Yeah, it is using those kind of educational boards so that people learn about it before it starts going into industrial kind of boards. Yeah, and in INKER Robot, we don't have our own platform. We thought of doing a platform where people can learn about it. Yeah, so that it's not used for industrial purposes. It's more for educational purposes, and that is the reason why we built it using Arduino and Raspberry Pi, so people can learn about it. But when it goes into industrial applications, the boards will be of industrial scale because it has to be powerful and it has to serve its purpose. So based on that, those boards can change. I hope that answered your question, Clint. Okay. Few more questions in terms of is it possible to build a solar-powered robotics from self-battery charging? It is possible. It is possible. Even in terms of solar power itself, the technology is changing day by day. The kind of solar cells and things like that, the size of it is getting reduced. It's getting reduced. Yeah. So once that technology is stable in terms of how it is, there will be self-battery charging machines that can be developed using that. There are in China that it's still being used. Yeah, it is there. Wherein once a robot knows that it is under a certain level, it automatically comes back into the docking station and it gets charged using solar power. So it is something that can be built in. At this point of time, there's a cost impact to it. So people are not going with that option. But very soon, as I told you, once we know that we can build solar powered chargers very cost-effective manner, these kind of technologies will be started using. Absolutely. We will start using those, but right now it is not a familiar thing because of the cost factor. Because of the cost factor, expensive. Yeah. Yes.
We can say like directly we cannot use solar powered and other things, but definitely it's related to the solar activity. We can charge their batteries. We can use the charge controllers. We can use the solar chargers for the charging of robot batteries. Definitely, but it cannot be directly through the solar panels in all the places in the robot, maybe. But we can use for the charging activity from the solar energy.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Absolutely, that was very nicely answered. Yes. Amit, Anupriya has asked us a question long back. Ma'am, is it much expensive? What could you just tell us what you were referring to? I don't know what exactly.
Let's think that it is robots. Yeah. So robots.
Because she's also subsequently asked another question, which is how much weight can robotics arms hold? Okay. Yeah.
So there are robotic arms that can be used for industrial purposes as well, which can weigh in terms of tons. Yeah. Okay, so depending on what is the kind of activity that that arm has to do, we have to ensure that we are looking at robots or robotic arms with that capacity.
Right. So it has to be designed.
It has to be designed, or we have to look for those kind of specifications in terms of the workload that the robotic arm has to do.
It's requirement of actually the purpose. We can say it's depend upon the purpose of the robot.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
We can say there are a lot of machines which are based upon robotics and automation, definitely. And like as a JCB also, it can be hold tons of weight, and some small equipments are there which can be used for only just 1 kg or half kg like that. So it can be purpose-based activity. Depends upon the purpose. It can be hold from the gram to kilograms and to the tons also.
We have another question here, Amit, which is our industry. The next problem we're going to face is that of labor, and because most of the labor has gone back home. So is it possible that the next workforce will be robots in the industry?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yes, robots will replace. Yeah, as we said, it will replace humans, but at the same time, humans will be doing other jobs, like what we mentioned in terms of RPA, AI. These kind of the jobs are where you will see more roles going into these kind of jobs, and manual labor will be eliminated by the using robots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Human beings would be doing more creative jobs.
Creative jobs.
So it depends upon requirement. It cannot be directly. It's going to replace the labors definitely, but it will
complement.
It will be increase the automation activity either in terms of machine, either in terms of robot. Inside the industry, definitely it will increase the automation activities due to the less manpower, due to the less labors as of now.
Yes, yes. So Atul Kumar is asking, is it made in India? If you're referring to these sandboards, these are from China. Yeah, the one that we showed you, the INKER Alton, is that we made it in-house. It is made in India. Yeah. Okay, I think we just have to wrap up in a couple of minutes. Okay. How has it generated more public interest in robotics? So I think the COVID is a typical example where people have started looking at robotics as a solution, and it in itself has ensured that we are moving ahead by 2 years in terms of what the digital technology is. Yeah, so that's where it has added value in terms of the COVID has added value in us thinking of more about from a technology standpoint, and it has made market awareness. It has created a market awareness for us.
All about uses in situations actually, which we are facing now.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes. And also the last question is from Agansha Sharma. Can we know more about AR and VR technologies and their applications? Yes, we have specific courses designed on that and understanding where it takes us.
Yes.
Yeah, because it has wide range of applications.
Yes.
Yeah.
Many sectors.
Especially when it comes into real estate and things like that. You don't have to go and see the place. You can send them this, and they can send them these kind of technologies, and then they can see or visualize being in that space.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so that's where these kind of technologies will be working. Okay,
we have
one question from
Prakriti.
In terms of what are the key implications during the development of a social robot. So yeah, before we design anything, we just need to understand what is the purpose that it needs to serve.
Absolutely.
And then use the robot and the kind of designs to design or come up with a solution that will implement that.
The entire programming will be based on the purpose.
Yeah,
right?
it is based on the purpose that it has to serve. So that is where we need to start understanding why you need a robot, what is the purpose that it has to serve, and how it can be served is done through the design build of it.
Absolutely.
In terms of because it can be flying a robot, it can be like a drone, it can be like a humanoid, it can go underground. It all depends on what is the purpose that it has to solve.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in a better way, we can say that we cannot use robots in unauthorized activities like that. We need to have some plans also during the preparation of the robot.
Yes. Okay. So we come to the end of it.
Yes.
Thank you for such an amazing audience that you all made. And I hope we have been able to do justice to the questions that you've asked us. Thank you so much for your time and patience. And I would like to thank Sahasra and team, especially Varun sir, for having given us this opportunity to collaborate and get this webinar and all the futuristic associations that we're going to work on. And Shyam, thank you so much for being there. I'm sorry I did not realize you were there for a long time, till I called out your name. Thank you so much, and I hope there are no more questions for us, right?
Yeah. If there's any questions, or you feel free to reach out to us. My email
ID is already there.
Yeah,
yes.
at INKERRobotics.com. So feel free to reach out to us. Yeah, and once you guys are in Thrissur, feel free to drop into INKER Robotics.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're most welcome.
Yes.
And thank you guys. It was wonderful having you today. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, ma'am, and Mr. Amit. Surely your knowledge sharing is very good for us, we are also getting engagements in this robotic segment, and definitely we are hoping best relationship with INKER Robotics, and definitely we will serve all the services related to robotic activities to the community, to help the community obviously, and as per the requirement of the community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ankur, and we'll be in touch, of course.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks to
Bye-bye.
all audiences also.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, Shyam. See you. Bye.